Now I'm just what you want. I look like you want me to, and I can't tell what's true, cause my world's made up of fake news, yeah. I'm realigning every facet of this space I'm in. I'm customizing all the curves that give the shape I'm in. I'm redesigning all of me so maybe I fit in. Now I'm not whining, but I fucking hate this world we're in. It's just not the kind of place I wanna be. It don't got the kind of rules I wanna see. I feel caught with no shot, so fuck not. Won't live inside your robot. Not like this, cause I don't think you really know who I am, or what I like, or why I don't fit inside your universe, cause I always come out feeling worse. No. And you don't know me, despite all your data says. These ads I confess, they must know I'm depressed, yeah. And I don't think like that, I'm not like you. Fuck you, I'm not a stat.
Yo, toasty. The man's a toaster. Cheers!
Not like this, cause I don't think you really know who I am, or what I like, or why I don't fit inside your universe, cause I always come out feeling worse. And I don't think like that, I'm not like you. Fuck you, I'm not a stat. I'm misconstrued, I'm taking my life back from all your garbage.
You know, one thing I learned in school is don't talk over when the voice is happening. But we're doing it anyway.
Find the time to look a name on Twitch, switching lights in my brain. Yeah, Pokemon's got me bewitched. I'm fucking with fans, trying to make them glow. And we take pics like this, and I like the pics so much, I'm gonna pin them up home. Now they can reach me by phone. I am doing this on my own. This kingdom will be overthrown. I'm realigning every facet of the space I'm in. I'm customizing all the curves that give the shape I'm in. I'm redesigning all of me so maybe I fit in. Now I'm not whining, but I fucking hate this world we're in. It's just not the kind of place I wanna be. It don't got the kind of rules I wanna see. I feel caught with no shot, so fuck not. Well, let me inside your robot. Let me inside your robot. Let me inside your robot. I'm not your robot. I'm not a robot.
Listen, I'm gonna try not to be like off the walls excited, but it's gonna be a tough one. Toasty, appreciate you coming in as early as possible. What an absolute legend. Guys, what's up? Hope you're doing well. Happy, what the hell day is it? Wednesday, right? Yeah. Happy Wednesday. Today we're going over hacker groups. Today we're going over XRP absolutely mooning. Today we're going over a video that's like potentially 6 minutes long. We'll see if we actually get all the way through it, or we may just skip it, because why the hell do we want to watch a 6-minute video? Listen, I sold an NFT and then the floor moon this morning. We're back. Listen, we've been talking about how we're back. People have been involved in different things. We're just the positive news just keeps on flowing down the river. It's like we're in a boat and we are traveling. It's pretty nice. So thanks guys for popping on through. If this is your first time tuning on in, what's up? My name is Schiller. Talking about NFTs and all that kind of jazz for a while. And yeah, listen, I got to come up with a better intro to the show. We've been talking about NFTs for a while. Thanks for watching. That's what I call tough. Okay, Lazarus Group targets Web3 developers with fake LinkedIn profiles and Operation 99. Okay, listen, if you're in the Web3 space and you are not like completely avoiding almost everything unless you've been specifically connected through somebody that you will mega trust, and even then you're still second guessing everything, a job recruiter on LinkedIn sending you something, listen, these are basic things. If you're in the space, be super careful. But basically the story goes on about how developers are getting offered different jobs, and yeah, it's fake, and then you get scammed, and it's no good. It's no good. Now, speaking of getting scammed, the entire space did so as of yesterday. Whale.mocha posted a thing about saying, I'm confident enough to share with y'all after hearing from several sources to the matter that Yuga Labs might be in the process of selling the CryptoPunks IP. Now, we didn't bring up this story yesterday because we're better than that. True. I'm just kidding. I totally forgot to bring it up because I had it saved and then I just didn't. So disregard. But the point being, this ended up being completely fake. At least it seems fake from the notions that we've gotten from Garga, the CEO of Yuga. We'll get into that specifically, but it did have a major impact within the floor. As you can see, it shot up. It was at 115,000. Don't even worry about what the ETH or like the ETH, in terms of ETH for the USD. Ignore that, but going from 115,000 to 132,000 floor just off of this apparently fake news. Kind of insane to look at and reflect on such a thing. Guys, listen, for this camera thing, do we zoom it in more? Is that better? I don't know if that's better or worse. Yeah, it's not. Yeah, we'll go with that. We'll go with this. Hi, how we doing? Okay, so CryptoPunks go mooning yesterday, and we have people that are what the hell is this? Oh, this is there we go. We have people. Yeah, Rodney Mullins. Have you met my man Rodney Mullins? What's going on? We have people that sold. I'm trying to find the Pranksy one. Yeah, Pranksy here. I floored a CryptoPunk this morning for 36 ETH after holding it for years. You cannot make today up. So there's an example of people that have like sold things and it going not great because the floor has gone monstrously higher off of news and happenings within the space. But here's one of Garga's responses to this happening going on. A lot of people have approached us, especially the last few months, in regards to buying the CryptoPunks brand. Doesn't mean we're doing anything. We would only ever do a deal if we felt very confident it would be a long-term, extremely plus estimated value for punks. My biz in life are NFTs. Not going to take a deal for money if it feels like it hurts the legacy of this asset. Some punks might think Yuga bad, but I'm fine with that. My preternatural ability to eat shit sandwiches, what a phrase, and not care what cringe lords think is precisely what makes us a decent steward. Whoever owns punks must have an iron stomach and willing to basically lock the IP up and throw away the key. So if anybody doesn't know, there was this super punks world that happened a while ago, and that went horribly. People that own CryptoPunks were like, yeah, never do this again, and they canceled that whole punk residency, and it was a debacle. It was a debacle, for lack of a better term. I made this post today, holding NFT forever, selling it 24 hours later at Moons, NFT pattern. We're back, 2025. True, and truers. Okay, massive announcement coming from the Echelon Foundation. This is over for Parallel and their Prime Esports League. They are now committing $3 million in prizes. If you remember a while ago, we kind of had the same situation where there was a lot of teams and esports brands of sorts, or people that were doing gaming within the blockchain space that were announcing all of these prize pools for playing the game, whether that was actually like tournament based or whether that was just kind of an airdrop to participate in the game itself. But cool to see that Prime and the Echelon Foundation is out there doing such. And I don't like the zoomed in webcam. I need to turn it down. We need to hire somebody to professionally set this up. If you're looking for a freelance gig, hit me up and we'll get you in here to set up the camera. Okay, so we also got the Futureverse news for December of 2024 as of yesterday. And this was the message from Aaron. And it's very interesting, kind of the focal point of this. So 2024 was an exciting and challenging year for the Futureverse team. Our focus throughout the year was to complete the underlying systems and protocols, hello Silo, that enable us to light up the applications we have been working on with our partners and to start to grow the developer community on the Root network. We made some awesome progress with Pass, transforming it from a simple web-based login supporting wallets to a full platform across web, mobile, and in-game engine support, as well as a huge range of social and gaming account interactions that are now integrated to some of the largest brands in the world to support their own launches in 2025. So waiting to see what those big launches look like. We significantly upgraded the Root network core code in over 330 custom runtimes to create the base protocols for interoperability in the metaverse. We launched a range of experiences on top of these tools to test how the components come together and fine-tune those things for growth. We created a whole bunch of developer tooling and have begun to see some amazing projects leverage these to launch their own corners of the open metaverse or enhance the capabilities of the Root network. We also had some speed bumps along the way, but the community and the team pulled out all the stops to help us solve those and drive forward. We continue to build, ship, learn, and improve at pace. This year is all about scale. talking about weight, talking about, I guess we're talking about weight. TRUUE. We will bring new intellectual property, new partners, new games and experiences, new communities, and incredible developers together to showcase the goal of an interoperable set of games, experiences, and applications built on top of user-owned content. We will continue to push the boundaries of technology and at the same time strive to make it ever more invisible. We look forward to working with our community to achieve the goals, and we have set in the process, helping us all to succeed. Catch up on so basically there's this like big space that's coming up that's hosted by Gear and Wallet, and it's kind of weird that like Gear and Wallet's leading this because it feels like it's like the newest thing coming out of the ecosystem that's connected to like XRP and Root. But there's a whole bunch of people getting together, and that is happening tomorrow. So something to pay attention to. Now, we've been running a series of videos talking about the Root network, things that have been going on there, because it's something that I'm passionate about and think that it's got a lot of cool things cooking. So we're not going to listen to the entire thing, but just the opening here from Brian Benson on Joinn Finance. Again, this is something new that's launching a Root. We just had the interview yesterday. Welcome aboard today. Wow, we got a powerhouse of a guest. We're talking a little bit about RWAs. This is Joinn Finance. We have Brian on. Okay, so if you guys see my earplugs, I look like Dumbo the elephant in this. If you can see, I don't have like, I don't know the way that my ears work. Like some of that stuff just like, it doesn't like suction cup in well, right? So I feel like I look like Dumbo in this for your enjoyment. Today from Joinn, this is something new that's jumping on the Root network. And as you guys have seen with the video series that we've done, we've been talking with everybody that's building on the network. And I think this one is going to be quite a surprise and kind of cool once it launches. So Brian, thanks so much for coming on through here. When we talk about Joinn Finance, when we talk about the Root network, when we talk about the future of finance coming on chain, you want to be at the front of that.
That's right. That's right. Thanks for having me, Schiller. I appreciate this space, and I'm really excited to share a little bit about what we're doing with the community. But yeah, at the end of the day, real world assets have always been around. Their stocks, their gold, their mutual funds, their treasury bills, things that have been around in traditional finance for quite some time. And I guess the unique part of it is now that they're being brought on chain, so that it's much easier to buy and sell them and have access to them from all parts of the globe and from all sort of walks of life. And so that's one of the things that we're really focused on, is bringing this access to as many people as possible through the Joinn app. So thanks for having me, man. I appreciate it.
So one of the reasons that I want to do this series is, one, you get to see the people kind of behind what's building this. And also, if you get interested in things, because I'm, talking with people, that's kind of the hope, because I got into the space because I saw various people that I found interesting talking about it. And if I can help others do that, then hell yeah. Okay, so yesterday we talked about this PSA X-Men comic. Guys, it came in the mail. Not that one, but look at that beauty. So we finally have our first Marvel card that's graded. It's a 1994 Marvel Masterpiece Hulk Hollow Foil Silver, number 8. I paid $20 for it. Hell yeah. So for anybody that doesn't know, again, when you send cards in for grading, if you just have like a card you rip from like a Pokemon pack and you're like, I want to get it graded, and you can do it for any of them. They're all different, but if you send it to PSA, it's like $24.99 to grade a card. So each individual card costs $24.99. We got a number 8 for less than what it costs to grade a card to begin with. TRUUE! And I saw this from Matty B and the whole collectible side. And there was this TikTok, and he was highlighting on the Dave Ramsey show. There's somebody that called in and said, I hit $26,000 in Pokemon. I have no idea what the Pokemon something from my wife. We'll just call it like collectibles for my wife. Now she wants a divorce. Guys, listen. Imagine the people that have called into that show that have talked about like crypto or NFTs. Like, I mean, I find this stuff kind of cool, right? And I'm like, but like, I'm also not stupid enough to know like, okay, like my $20 card is probably never going to be worth $1,000. $26,000 in Pokemon cards is insane, but listen, love it when you collect. Hell yeah. Just in, this is yesterday, by the way, XRP surpasses. We have 100, we have 100,000, we have 1 million, we have 1 billion, 155 billion. Oh, holy shit, talking mushrooms, what are we doing? We're absolutely mooning. Happening again, up another 15%. We are now up to 175 billion. Yeah, 175 billion. Listen, it's funny because like I didn't really pay attention to much which was going on within XRP, except for the fact that like obviously like I'm really into the root network. And yo, take note. Hell yeah, 1 second, and thank you so much for joining on in. I mean, listen, everybody's talking about how XRP is now going to be leading the rally for crypto. I think generally when you look at the market as a whole, if we go in like the past 24 hours, a lot of things are in the green, but obviously XRP is really, really running. And also we have some announcements coming out from some government officials. It seems like potentially some legal cases might be dropped. So that would be very, very spicy if that was the case. But take note with reason. Thanks for joining by. Can you speak about the new merger of Think? Thank you. Yeah, so truthfully, when it first came out, I felt really, really weird about it. Now, why did I feel weird about it? For anybody that's been following the Futureverse ecosystem and what's been built around there is they started several different crypto coins, and a lot of them have ended up being ones that you kind of burn for a new one. And that is not a Futureverse only thing. I've seen that in several different NFT collections that have gotten into coins, or just protocols in general. So Pixel Vault, they used to have the Punks token and the POW token that you now burn into GG. That's something that's connected within Arbitrum. If you've ever heard of Bridge Mutual before and a Pitch Darkest here, you probably just smashed yourself in the forehead. But that is now called DN Finance, and you are going to be able to burn that BMI token for this new DN token. And so that's an example where in Futureverse, they've had the Suns token that's now into Root, and they've had Plug, which is now into Catalyst token. Now, with all that said, having this one where it's, all right, we have Altered State Machine and it's now going into Think, it's like, oh my goodness, here's another token that's going out to do this. And originally my first reflection on that was like, damn it, we're doing this again. Does that mean that we can't get anything right in the first time? And it's like, well, you know, let's hold on a second. Let's try to take a sit back and, you know, crack open a brisk and chill. And so you think about it a little bit more and you're like, okay, so you can change the tokenomics a little bit more. You can make it so the charts as well don't look as horrible as they do. But again, of course, it doesn't matter even if a chart's like flatline forever. As soon as it runs, everybody's like, woo, we're having a good time. You know what I mean? Off to Hawaii. But when you sit down and you look at what the team has published, and yesterday I played a video from Mikey, who's one of the people from 6079 and the Wire Network. And it felt like, okay, this is something where the guys know what they're talking about. They've seemingly solved a problem that nobody else could have, and they've done it in a really awesome way where they highlighted the Bankless podcast, and they said one of the guests on there said, oh, you can't do this right now, and it's 3 to 5 years away, but we actually have this now. And one of the biggest things within the Futureverse ecosystem is we've seen glimpses of the tech or cool things where they posted videos that are like super high quality graphics, or they've said, hey, we have like the world-class partners. They've hinted at Roblox. They've, you know, said, hey, we're partnered with like, or I don't know if it's like been like super official, but like the whole Warner Brothers ecosystem, right? Where they've hinted at Harry Potter, Game of Thrones, the list goes on, and have all these big players. But it also feels like there's a huge curtain kind of that's blocking us from being able to see all these things. So there's been questions about certain aspects, but I think overall, it's kind of leading to this point of there could be like massive things. Like, are we getting a Ready Player 2 movie and it's integrating all of this stuff? Is it now that movie you can go home and be in all of the scenes that are created from that? We have rumors of it being associated with Yuga, which we'll look at some of the announcements from Yuga today, where they're showing some of their virtual world. And is that technology that's the 3D procedurally generated assets with Promptopia, everything else? How is this going to help? Where does this look? There's a lot of things that I'm very excited about. But as I'm trying to be transparent with, on my first reaction to it, it wasn't really positive, but the more and more that I'm seeing about it, I think it's making me be like, okay, there's something that could be mighty fine here. And there's a lot of people out on the timeline putting really, really good content out there regarding it. And I've seen some videos where people have published and had that reaction that I did that was kind of negative on that first glance. And it kind of looks bad now because when you look behind everything, it's like, I think there's going to be a lot here. So I hope you enjoyed that rant. Happy to go further into it as we see things. But again, I think we'll find out a little bit tomorrow and beyond, and we'll try to cover it when it happens. So going back in time to 2018, do you remember remember what you were doing in 2018? Ripple was actually the #1 cryptocurrency. It flipped Bitcoin at the time. And that's just insane to think about. And Solar Coin, I don't know if that exists anymore. ATM Coin, not sure. Cardano, Litecoin, crazy to see when you look at the top 10 chart from all the way back in 2018. What stayed in the top 10, what like just doesn't exist anymore. And that's crypto for you. The NHL, the hockey league, going around blocking videos and demonetizing. Oh my goodness, I didn't realize that was up. My apologies. The NHL going around blocking videos and demonetizing YouTube videos that cover their games. Great marketing strategy, guys. Really growing the game here. So we've complained about this before. But all these major sports leagues have had crazy discrepancies between what games are blacked out, like regionally for purchasing their game packages. I just think the whole sporting world, video game world, there's so many things out there that need to kind of get changed up a little bit. And this, every day we see something more where we just think, all right, change is coming. And speaking of change, we have 2 projects that are like rebranding. So World of Women posts this that says, the time is wow. I love that phrase. The revolution is now. Fueling women at the forefront via community, capital, and coin. So I haven't actually read through this article yet, to be totally honest with you. I'm assuming this is an article, but the fact that they mention a coin in there, look at this. Unlock the ecosystem perks with WOW Coin, a token for feminine forward communities coming 2025. So it looks like World of Women is joining in on the NFTs that are launching a token race, which seemingly everybody is doing going into 2025 if they had not done already, and also changing a little bit with how their branding looks. Now, they're not the only ones to do that, as we also have seen OniForce. We're excited to unveil the evolution of OniForce into OniForce. So they took the one out and they replaced it with an I, if you didn't notice that. Because people called it OniForce anyone. I mean, did anybody call it On One Force? I don't think so. Along with our new updated brand guidelines, this marks a bold step forward in our journey, and we can't wait to share every detail of our new look. So comics, AI, gaming, animation, new branding. Ba-da-da-da. That's kind of cool. Nice. We got to see a little bit behind there. Okay, so I don't care what this says. I don't care what this says. All right? But this is somebody's take on the Canadian government, right? And I know we don't really ever get into politics or anything. But the X timeline has literally turned into people having thoughts and just paying to promote their thoughts on the timeline. And it's like the most ridiculous thing ever that you're like scrolling and you're like, oh, this is somebody's opinion. And then in the top right corner, it's ad. And then you're like, okay, well, that's kind of weird. I don't really care about that. It has nothing to do with it. It's a personal opinion. It's not advertising anything except like their own thought. And so the question is, what is the price people will pay for others to see the message that they want to go out when they are not associated with a company? That's a question. Listen, I'm just saying that's gonna be something we're gonna have to look for. It's gonna be crazy. Now, speaking of the metaverse, in which we love and why we say, hey, listen, I think a lot of things are gonna happen online. True. Toronto, your traffic is unbearable. Also true. 30 minutes to drive 8 kilometers from Bloor to Church to Gardner to Liberty Village. Listen, we just stay at home, have a little bit of a chaperone, hang around, have a good time. You know what I mean? We love the metaverse. True. I have no idea what the hell this means. I genuinely have no idea what this means. Just in, Dubai government to build a 17-story crypto tower to be completed by 2027. So is this like only a home for people that have crypto? Is this supposed to be like a monument that people travel to go to? Like what the hell is like a 17-story crypto tower intended to be, right? Home for us? Maybe. Trump's SEC to overhaul crypto policy may freeze enforcement. So I'm uneducated on this, so I'm going to give like what I've seen on my timeline. Apparently, there is like something with the SEC where they need to file like something by tomorrow, and it seems like they're not going to do so, and that's the reason for the XRP pump or the assumption for that. But then also with this coming out saying that there may be a freeze on enforcements, obviously the Ripple case overall, I thought it was finished, and then it wasn't finished, and then it's like all this kind of hoopla stuff. So again, just positive news for the industry coming out of that. So we'll see what ends up being the case. So all eyes on Emergence. Now, this is a little bit different than the Emergence that's connected to Futureverse, which we've highlighted before. This is for the story protocol, which raised like an unbelievable amount of money. Exciting collab alert. Meet Emergence first, the evolutionary sci-fi universe created by a Hollywood legend. Think the Dark Knight trilogy. Imagined by Inception and powered by Story Protocol. Emergence is revolutionizing storytelling by merging Hollywood and AI. Now, we've heard a lot about how everybody's revolutionizing this, that, or the other thing. I am very excited to see who comes out on top. We know Story Protocol has a whole bunch of funding. It seems like they're wanting to be a little bit conscientious or mysterious around who this Hollywood legend is. But either way, still very excited to see more and more people that have very notable names that aren't the Hawk Tua, you know what I mean? Coming out and doing stuff within the space. Awesome to see. I love going down and checking out old tweets whenever we happen to have a bot that likes them, which happens all the time. I've also gotten mass spam. So just an FYI for anybody that tweets out about NFTs, crypto, you'll eventually hit a point where you just get spammed bots that are saying, hey, check out this XRP airdrop. And it's like a scam link. You can go through, manually block them, but if the messages become ridiculous, always remember you can go into your notification setting and change it to only from people that follow you or you follow. So there's like a little bit of a caveat there where you can actually make it where you don't get pinged by bots all the time because it gets a little bit rough. But anyway, Patrick Mahomes' official NFT from a year ago. Secondary sales haven't moved in months, and that was a physical redemption, kind of like what we have with the Hulk card. If you guys haven't seen, look at that. Not bad, not bad. Account hasn't posted since February. Are they still active? And back in the day, people were paying like $150 for these physical specific Patrick Mahomes collectible NFTs that were redeemable for physical components. Kind of interesting. Okay, Scott Fu here. Measure weather data, get rewarded. The SkyX devices are shipping out. Super excited for these devices to get in people's hands. Stay tuned tomorrow for a detailed thread on the device and how to contribute to the network and get rewarded. So people are now tracking noise pollution of certain areas because that helps with real estate, weather on certain areas because, again, we have farmers, and all of these different devices are a part of DePIN. If you're not very familiar with DePIN, I would love for you to listen to the conversation that I actually had with Scott Fu about this exact topic. If you check out the link in the description below on YouTube, or if you just type in on any podcasting platform, RWA segments podcast, but the segment is with an I instead of an E on the ment part. We talked with Scott Fu. It's a really, really interesting story. He was actually really big in the music production space, but when COVID hit, he switched over to getting into crypto, found DePIN, realized that everybody within the space was talking about everything but DePIN, and so really dove in, and now he's head of growth at Peaq Network, which you might be familiar with, which is a really, really big network, so would love for you guys to go check out that podcast. We have a whole slew of different guests, and this most recent week's episode, we talked with somebody who's taking the culinary industry and trying to help it bring it on chain. Okay, Pudgy Penguins, Mr. Luca Netz was on TV here talking about, I'm guessing, Pudgy Penguins and Pengu.
Now, as winter continues to bring freezing temperatures to much of the U.S., the Penguins have come out to play here at the New York Stock Exchange. The Pudgy Penguins native token debuted. Its Pengu native token of NFT project debuted at $2.3 billion market cap. As you see there, my co-host is right next to me. We have some of the Pudgy Penguin swag joining us in studio, and also joining us to discuss this more is Luca Netz. He is the CEO of Pudgy Penguins. Did you see that shot, Luca?
I loved it. You made my morning.
I mean, I have the co-host here with me in studio. I also have some of the swag that you and your team sent over. I am loving this.
Yeah, Toasty, you could tell the anchor has absolutely no idea, but they love the Penguins. They have no idea what they're talking about, but they like the Penguin toys.
I love seeing it on the big screen.
I love it. Okay, well, let's just get into this conversation. First of all, let's talk about Pudgy Penguins. Tell us more about what you're doing in the Web3 space and how this actually works.
Yeah, so Pudgy Penguins is a cultural phenomenon that is onboarding people on chain into the industry via the love of IP. And so this idea that people love IP, they love characters, and it is a non-intimidating and non-taboo way to ultimately bring people into crypto that I think is familiar and that people understand. Today, we're getting about 300 million views a day on social. We're selling hundreds of thousands of toys and products every single month. And we are the most beloved and relevant crypto character that has come out of the industry over the last couple of years.
And growing on the Solana chain, why choose to build off of Solana?
I think Solana has proven itself to be the consumer chain, to be the chain today that is onboarding the next wave of users. And
okay, so let me get this straight. The entire abstract notion is that they're the consumer chain that's going to take over. And so he goes on like national television to say like Solana is the consumer chain. Now, to be fair, he says like today, right? So like to be fair, sure, he signifies today, but I feel like that's kind of a crazy thing to say when like your whole thing is like abstract's going to be the consumer chain. And yo, Jeremy,
we wanted to be where the new user growth is, and Solana seemed to be like the place to do it. And so it's been an amazing journey thus far. I think right now, Pudgy Penguins and Pengu has over 650,000 holders on chain, which makes it one of the most held on-chain tokens in the world.
But you know, the total supply is about 89 billion Pengu tokens. That's roughly 25.9% of which are set aside for members of the Pudgy Penguins ecosystem via an airdrop claim, right? So can you explain to us how this exactly works?
Yeah, so we gave about 50% of the token supply to the people. Ultimately, the Pudgy Penguin brand and the Pudgy Penguin character has always been for the people, by the people. And I think it was the biggest claim of all time at roughly $1.2 billion when that happened. And so it is all about distribution and getting people aligned. And ultimately, I think what Pengu looks to solve is the access and the democratization of access, you know, for these assets for us. Today, our NFTs are about $100,000 a piece. There's a huge barrier to entry for people to participate in this cultural phenomenon. And Pengu allows anyone and everyone, whether it's $1 or $10 or $100,000, to participate in the growth and align themselves with the brand and the community.
Now, okay, so just out of a question, right? Because I'm trying to add like, I don't know, extra context or thoughts with it. When he says, hold on, let me go back to the very end there, because there's an extra thought I had with it.
Huge barrier to entry for people to participate in this cultural phenomenon. And
so participate in this cultural phenomenon, you can get like the Pengu token because the NFT is out of reach. Do you think that he needs to explain the point of like buying the Pengu token within this? Or is it like you own Pengu, you're part of the culture, and that's like the end of the discussion? Just because you have some kind of financially obligated asset? No, you own something. You put I'm trying to think of like the right phrasing to this, but I want to like assume like, you know, or not assume, but if you're watching this, you're not really like in crypto. You're like, okay, so you can buy this NFT. Okay, well, so it's like an image, and somehow we're a part of like I feel like you need to explain like what the community, what the point of the token and that kind of other stuff is, unless it's just like, hey, you own that and you can go around saying like, hey, I own Pengu. Does that make sense? I don't know. Yo, it's hard. Wag me, brother. Yo, how we doing? How we doing? Yo, man, it's crazy. Also, you're posting some fire tweets lately. This man's cooking.
Pengu allows anyone and everyone, whether it's $1 or $10 or $100,000, to participate in the growth and align themselves with the brand and the community.
Participate in the growth. Okay, like I mean that's fair, but basically that's like, yeah, listen, we're going to grow this thing, and Pengu's going to the moon.
I do want to talk more about the upcoming administration as we are gearing up for the inauguration January 20th. How do you anticipate this sector will be impacted with the new administration?
I think it changes everything. I mean, for the first time, we have a pro-crypto administration, an administration that has participated in this space over the last couple of years. And I think it just changes absolutely everything. For us, I think it opens the floodgates. It opens the floodgates not only for regulatory clarity, but I think for opportunities and what you can and cannot do. And I think for, you know, companies like ours, and I think for the rest of the space, we're really excited to have a clear line of sight as to, you know, what the rules and regulations are. And we're super confident that this administration is going to provide that clarity.
How are you positioning yourself as a business to be prepared for the new regulations and policy shifts?
I think
before we answer that, like, how do you even prepare yourself? Is it like, well, I mean, we're just going to keep doing our thing and we can just operate without fear? That's basically it. right? Curious what he says.
Ultimately, there's a lot of things, like I said, that we, haven't done up until this point because of that lack of regulatory clarity. And so I think, depending on what comes out, will either give us a green light or a red light on what we can and cannot do. But it's important to note that the Pudgy Penguin business is very much a traditional business. I think last month alone, we sold north of 500,000 toys in retailers. And we have a content business and a licensing business that is growing year over year at a pretty significant rate. And so regardless of what the regulators and what the new administration does, the Pudgy Penguins, business side of the company is on a pretty clear path in terms of where we need to go next.
Speaking of where we go next, I do want to know what's next for Pudgy Penguins. As we kicked off 2025. What are you looking at for the near term?
Yeah, I think, up until this point, I think we've done probably the best job over the last couple of years in terms of becoming a cultural phenomenon and being the character within the industry that represents the industry in the best way possible. A huge mission for us over the last couple of years has becoming the face of crypto, the mascot of crypto. And I think up until this point, we've done exactly that. But we really need to take it up a notch here in 2025. I would anticipate, what does it look like to have long form content, whether it's a movie or a TV show. We have 2 premier games releasing, one on desktop, one on mobile. And we have announcements and partnerships that I think just are going to continue to push crypto forward. Just like Pudgy Penguins and Walmart was a historic moment, I think we have a lot more historic moments in store.
And we're going to keep an eye out for that. We look forward to having you back.
All right, so that's the end of the interview. They say goodbye, sayonara, have a good one. Not a bad interview. Pretty solid. Okay, so if you like that interview and you think people are great, get ready to absolutely hate people. What are we doing? All right, so imagine you go to a game, right? You bring your kid, and they have a jersey swap that just goes absolutely viral, right? And the parent says, we're going to take that and we're going to try to sell it to make some money online. Listen, that's a tough look. Imagine being that kid getting that jersey. It's cool as hell. And your dad's like, hold on a minute. Let me get a couple of grand off the internet from that. What an absolute travesty. Okay, Garga from Otherside, environmental botanical NFT to 3D. Not bad. Kind of cool to see what these worlds look like within 3D. Again, there's been a lot of questions around Otherside, the speed of things and whatnot, but I think graphically, what they have shown, when they've shown it, does look quite nice. So very, very cool to see what that looks like. Ricky on Solana, great follow, but kind of has her profile based off Ricky from Trailer Park Boys, and I find that hilarious. Anyway, crazy that some random pictures of cute animals have a larger market cap than 70% of real world companies that exist. It's a great post. 100% agree. And then Crypto Insight UK says, a senator who's trying to pass a crypto bill saying this, coming from Cynthia Loomis, just a little reminder, as things are about to get crazy, emotions and excitement can run high. Don't send Bitcoin or crypto to some random wallet or QR code. As ever, do your own research beforehand. I mean, listen, if the government officials are saying things are about to get crazy, not bad. That's going to be it for this edition of XFeed. Thank you so much for tuning on in. If you want to rewatch what we got cooking, again, would love for you guys to check out the replay. Of course, if you check over on the live feed on YouTube, or if you go scrolling on my X page, we have all of the different broadcasts from the past week. We have like 4 or 5 interviews now regarding the Root Network that we've done. We have more ones scheduled. Those are super fun. Hope you guys have enjoyed them. And of course, the RWA Segments podcast, coming out with those weekly. You can check the link in the bio or on my page on X. Atari, thank you so much for coming on through. Good sir. Let me talk so you can understand what I'm saying. Yo, Jeremy. Guys, what are we doing on Rivals? Let me know when we're playing Rivals, because, playing Rivals tonight. True. DJ Toasty, appreciate you coming on early. Hope you're being a little bit toasty as per usual. Take note. I appreciate the question. Hope you've enjoyed this. Have you met my man, Rodney Mullins, the one and only TRUUE? Appreciate you coming on through. And yeah, that's going to be it for me. Goodbye forever. Yo, Jeremy.